roster also revolves around the fact like, hey, I want to create that kill zone with the Eve, and it was one of those compositions where you draw the Eve, you want to create that kill box with RWM and then draw everyone inside. But Malaysia was just way too slippery. No one was inside the kill box. There wasn't any kill box because Dalton just evaporated before any team fight actually happens. So the big adjustment is Paquito will see the light of day instead of any other EXP lanes.
Jusin was open as well, did not snap pick by the side of B1. Team Malaysia noted that Elton really solid on that Claude earlier just now. It was the one I would say that brought them to success because of the Blazing Duet. Of course, you know, S++ tier pick in terms of gold lane, you snap pick that one in R1. R2 though, Akai also, you know, rising star in terms of the meta, you take that at the same time, but Jusin open as well. Not too sure whether in Team Indonesia wants to take that.
Jusin looks pretty juicy right here, and it's, you know, one of those heroes where you can't really go too wrong with it. At least you have a little bit of vision game with that. The Kai being picked up here is a solid counter towards the Paquito, and you don't really have quite a bit of the EXP lanes as a lane-to-lane counter towards that Paquito. Less for the Phovias if you want to actually pick that up, but it's actually banned out by Indonesia themselves. Marcel and Jusin getting picked up. Jusin definitely can't go wrong with that. Marcel, we've seen the prowess in game number 1.
But then again, if you take a look at what Team Indonesia secured for the first phase picks, Shuros, is that these are your 3 really S+ tier picks, right?
Yep.
In their respective roles, I would say, but Team Malaysia as well, these are not too shabby picks either. I think this third pick is definitely going to be the one that is the key decider. If Hisham goes back to the Cho, that will be hilarious. We shall see.
Hisham is still wide and open. Up against a Marcel, typically you want to get a
Gord?
Yeah, Gord or the Valentina. I think Gord would be much better since you know Jusin is on the board as well. So now Hisham can just throw in a pocket pick once again. Marcel would be a bit trickier to land with the Dragon on. Jusin still pretty much much different from the way Yves is played. Yves is a little bit more immobile. Jusin has a bit more mobility and flexibility.
I feel like the Cho doesn't look good right here, especially for the side Team Indonesia. But you know what looks good here, in my opinion? A Grok.
Ooh.
Grok wall. You got a heavy spin. You can pin. You can build a wall anytime, allowing God to basically just spam down the Mystic Gush. There's also the wild charge that you can use right down into that wall as well. So yeah, Grok looks juicy right here if you are going
his signatures as well. Interesting. So, okay, the Cho is being banned out, but like we said, I don't think the Cho will see the light of day this time around. It's a little bit more difficult for Cho to land any nice pickoffs, but it does have uses beyond pickoffs, which is opening up that map, providing vision, being super annoying with the concussive blast, and trying to push the opponent's jungle away. Whereas Indonesia just wants that solid line of solid farming line during the first at least 8 minutes of the game.
Yep, okay, you take a look. For the side Team Malaysia, right? The CEO, the Baxia banned away, the R-Lot also banned away by the Team Indonesia. There's still the Fredrin that's still applicable, but the Fredrin is just... It's going to be difficult for the Fredrin, right? Like, if Akai is constantly heavy spinning and pushing you away, it means that you're going to have to... Have you seen that interaction when the Fredrin is trying to land down and brace his wrap, but he's constantly getting pushed away by the side of Akai, and you're just like raising his sword up and down? Yeah. That could potentially be the case coming into game number 3 right here.
You could potentially go for an assassin pick this time around, or even a Leomord would kind of work. It was banned out in the first game in this series.
Leomord looks good.
Leomord looks very, very good right here. So much dive potential, especially if you're Indonesia. And in the late game, it's just very difficult to get rid of. And speaking of get rid of, this is Glue going on into the roam for Hisham, most likely. Or actually still flexible. It still can be flexible.
It definitely can be flexed, but Glue is already instantly countered, I would say, by the side of Paquito, and to a certain extent, Marcel, right? There are certain cases where you start to see in some of the regions, respective MPLs, right? Glue is being drafted. Glue try to possess either Paquito or the Marcel, but the Glue gets pulled all the way back into the enemy team, and then after that, just get them busted down, focus down, and then they move on, right? So, not a big fan of this Glue, but we shall see how it's being piloted. But yeah, I agree. Could also be EXP. We shall see.
That is just the annoyance factor that Glue really brings to the table. Even if that were to happen, it still has a little bit more tankability and sustainability and possessing onto the back line. This could be what Claude really needs. And now, and like I said, the assassin will come up in the form of a marksman / assassin in the Yisun Shin. This would be Paquito in the gold lane, Lapu in the EXP. So double fighter side lanes, and then all back to basics for Indonesia with Yisun Shin in the jungle.
Look, Paquito in the gold lane is not fun to deal with, right? The Claude has to pay a lot of respect over the damage potential coming out of this Paquito, especially even after the slight nerf. The fact that you still have damage reduction built into your kit after you unleash the enhanced version of your skill, you could just easily retreat back and then just continue on the combos over and over again to poke down the gold laner. Now, this R5 pick is going to be a very interesting one. I would say if this is an EXP like a Terizla, this is crazy. Or even to a certain extent, you don't. Benedetta works.
Benedetta, if you want a lane split potential, that's a Sora. Okay. Going back to a little bit more traditional picks, I won't say boring right here. It is still extremely viable in a sense that...
I want to see more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see more, but
you
at
just
the
want
very
to see
least...
Leslie. I'm just kidding.
Okay, at the very least, Sora, okay, a very flexible EXP laner right now. You just build him HP bars, and then after that, hey, you can swing that Sora right into a tank to set. Or to a certain extent, you can also swing him into the Thunderform to basically do the damage. So really flexible, but we also need to see how this team, especially Razzie, pilots this one. Going up against the Lapu pre-level 4, I would say Lapu has the better advantage here.
Yeah, pre-level 4 on both sides. Honestly, Lapu still has a better wave clear advantage. Sora really excels in terms of team fight capabilities. The only difference I want to see, and I want to see a lot more coming in from Dingarai, who right now is going to be with the Paquito up against this Claude. So a lot of lane proxies will happen, a lot of rotations into the gold lane side of the jungle, and a lot more engages and skirmishes down on the gold side.
Yep, game number 3 is afoot, ladies and gents. Team Malaysia and also Team Indonesia right now battling for the better seed. This is 3rd seed going up against 4th seed, of course. It is Team Indonesia that has a solid footing. But Team Malaysia looking to prove themselves not too shabby either with Hisham on this glue, on pattern.
Yeah. It's Blue just being super annoying. You don't really have to latch onto anyone. Forcing a flicker way too early on. It is only the 42nd second of the game, and Malaysia is feeling good about themselves.
Yeah, flicker right off the bat this early on, especially all Hisham has to do is just run around being a nuisance. Man, this is worth a lot for the side Team Malaysia, especially this early on.
Okay, and also it protects the aggressiveness coming in from the Eastern Shin over to the opponent's side of the jungle. So Malaysia is keeping it safe with Paquito at the bottom side as well, doing that damage to cut through, but Indonesia wasn't able to break through Malaysia's early game defenses as of now. I would say it takes a little bit more time. Wait till level 4 and we'll see the power of Indonesia's grab actually really coming through.
Yeah, I feel like the gold priority definitely leans heavily over the side of Dingarai, right? Especially in the earlier parts of the game. It seems like Team Malaysia wasn't really ganking all the way up top and bot because, you know, at the very least, you know, you don't against Yuki as a Lapu-Lapu, especially early on. Sora needs that level 4 to be able to strike. So I feel like it's Team Malaysia trying to rotate around the river to try to get something. I'm hoping to see more, okay, as I said it, I'm hoping to see more invades. Hisham took a peek at the enemy jungle for just a little bit.
Yeah, 5 seconds until the first turtle of the game spawns up. I think Malaysia is definitely in a better position to contest with this. They do have a little bit more power spikes, and without the Paquito in the XP lane, is not in the right position. You might be able to rotate up to get a 5v4 fight right from the get-go, but Indonesia needs to buy that time. Nazan kind of understands this. He finds that rotation coming in, especially with the Rivers buff. Paquito is going to be in the position in really soon.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of you drafting a gold lane fighter, right? You really want to quickly just go all the way into this turtle fight over the sudden 4v5, and it's not looking very good! Nazan takes the turtle away from Indonesia, but given over the side Team Indonesia down. 2 members on the side Team Malaysia already down. Needs Hisham in a spot of trouble just a little bit. Shouldn't try to give any more kills over the side of Team Indonesia.
Nazan with the retry battle, he just won it right off of that. Afan was just way in the back line. Indonesia had all free reign to be able to take down that turtle and get the retribution fast. But Nazan using the heavy spin, and just in the nick of time when the heavy spin let off, that iframe just was all that's needed for Nazan to seal the deal. The rotations coming in on the top side as well. They have to deal with Dingarai coming straight from the back line, pushing Amar back. Even though they got that first blood, they were able to take down this turtle.
Yeah, but I think right now it's just like the advantage of you securing the turtle is just nullified, right? Losing 2 members and giving Afan, luckily, it's an assist not to... Hold on. A support, what, this Robo Combat? Hisham taking that win?
Was it down on the mid side? It does look like
around the river. Around the river.
Yeah,
that's not looking good for the side of Team Indonesia as of now. And all of a sudden, that whole sequence after the turtle takedown by the side of Team Malaysia, they lost 2 members because losing, and after that, you know, Team Malaysia taking down Alexander. Now, I would say, still stalemate.
Malaysia does have a much better solid front line at this point of time. If you look at Indonesia's draft, they don't really have a tank. You do have some form of a pseudo tank in the form of Alexander's Marcel, but then you have a double fighter side lane. This causes a lot of sustainability, but when it comes to like, you know, you want to go mano a mano, head to head, this is Malaysia really throwing that glue in the midst of battle first, and just sustaining everything back up or doing all that damage into this glue right from the get-go before any of these big fights actually happen.
Yeah, I think definitely a lot more pressure on the side of Indonesia, right? They do pick up 2 kills early on. We need to see them escalate right here. Oh, Alexander catching onto Razif. Still should be able to get out of the way. A
very passive Malaysia, if I could say at least. A little bit different. We'll run to try to get the bottom side. Okay, let's pull back.
Pull back at the same time, but don't forget Dinger Right is a Pakito. He's trying to punch it all the way. Blazing to win in the last minute. Dinger Right getting a lot of damage and also trying to heal Dinger Right. Outplaying, burns the flicker as well. Acknowledges that Indonesia, while all that's happening, turtle secured by Team Indonesia.
They're just really outplayed by Dinger Right. He knows that he has that damage. He doesn't care about being possessed by that glue and just bought so much time on that top side. Without that glue to disrupt Afan, Nazan just can't go into that turtle pit all willy-nilly. That's the heavy spin committed.
Yep, back into safety for now, unfortunately for the side of Nazhan. But then, you know, you gotta give credit, right? Dinger Right played that wonderfully. 2 members burn away the glue's flicker at the same time, and also 2 ultimates. Man, Dinger Right must feel really confident after that one.
This is the mid-game power spike for Indonesia that we're talking about. Not only did he almost take down glue, bought that time for the turtle take for Indonesia, but also pushed down that T1, the bottom side. So Elton's going to be on a slower foot this time around. This Mountain Shocker.
Catching onto Razif, will be able to dodge on the way. Burns away the ultimate, so it's still okay. The Somros ultimate cooldown is kind of low, so not too shabby either. But hey, Team Malaysia, what is the play right here? They lost bottom lane.
I think it's going back to basics. I think Hisham just needs to really babysit Elton, taking little itemizations. Elton has a really uphill battle to climb. It's just 1 core item at the 6-minute mark. And definitely not a good start dealing with a Pakito on the side lanes. This would set him back quite a bit. But if this game is able to just, you know, take its tide and play towards that 15-16-minute mark, Malaysia would have the upper hand. The skill potential on this claw is just crazy.
Counter-Strike is already secured by the side of Afan. That is a key item for this Yushin Shin. But if you compare in terms of levels, earlier just now, Nazhan is the one that's leading the charge when it comes to EXP. He's ahead in levels, but now Afan managed to farm that all the way back.
For Afan though, at the very least, you are in Yushin Shin. And lest we forget the power up below 15 Yushin Shin. At full power is just basically such an annoyance to deal with, and you have to watch your 6. It's powered by the double fighter side lanes as we speak as well. So it's 4v3 at this point. Gord is in position.
Not only just the fact, oh, that's going to be a missing gut trying to zone away, but then again, Team Indonesia taking a lot of damage from the side of Team Malaysia right now, and Alexander landing down on the frozen moment. Amar picking up Delvin as well. The team fight is getting split up far apart. It feels like 1v1. The blazing the win for the side. Elton not doing a lot at the same time. Dinger Right trying to make a play right here, jump all the way in, but unable to find any kill. 1 man down for the side of Team Indonesia.
It's like a boxing match. Everyone's taking blows. Everyone's pushing and pulling the turtle out of the pit. But at the very end of the day, Hisham had an excellent play, pushing Afan away from that turtle pit. It was a 1-man army, taking 3 members on their own, buying time for Malaysia to actually come in. Remember, Indonesia had 4 members at the turtle pit at that time before Malaysia actually took a step forward, and Hisham bought that time for them.
And not only just that, right? I would say Alexander that golden now is also definitely a nuisance. If you notice, Team Malaysia is just toying with the idea of engaging until Alexander decides to go for the golden hour. But oh, another going to be a missing gush as well. Sreang dives all the way to Amar, but Nazhan right there trying to pin the wall. Amar burns away. The flicker will be able to get out of safety. Hisham finds onto Alexander, but he's going to be Dinger Right returning the kill. Sreang goes on the another one going to the air, but Dinger Right lands a punch onto Razif in the air as well.
Space and time bot, Alexander fouls in the end, but Amar being wide and open saved that flicker for where he knew Xiaoki was able to take him down, and this creates so much space for Indonesia to actually take this board down. And I can't believe, you know, we missed that 3rd turtle. It turned into a Lord, and right now Malaysia are not happy about that. They want to find some form of reconciliation.
But taking down the Lord for himself, Nazhan not in a good position, doesn't really have the heavy spin because Delvin is also there as well. And now all of a sudden that glue pick was annoying in the early game, but it seems like Team Indonesia has adapted.
Yeah, for Indonesia though, they understood. Hisham is all alone, let's just punish him. He wants to come in, he wants to play with us, let's play with him back. That's not a threat, it's a promise.
Delvin as well, you know, picking up members one after another. The Juicin really going to show, but okay, this is a little bit awkward for the side of Delvin
that's
right
what you're
here.
talking about.
And now his shot, okay, in no man's land, giving the kill over to Afan is not exactly ideal. This Yi Shin has scaled.
The Hisham is just being pulled away from the rest of his team. Calling a 4-1 composition is Hisham making mistakes in the late stages of this game. 10-minute mark. Hisham is not so scary anymore. And like you said, whatever happened would happen. Hisham latched onto Delvin, able to use that ultimate get out of there and leaving the kill over to Afan.
Yeah, Hisham is too far ahead, right, for the side of Team Malaysia to kind of reinforce. But of course, you know, this is still technically mid-game house fight for the side of Team Indonesia, and they're building a snowball, right? 5k goalie in the favor of Team Indonesia. You've got Dinger right, but hold on a second. Mountain Shocker lands on the Nazhan, take a lot of punishment.
I won't count Malaysia out of the woods just yet. Najan, low in health, able to just push away that minions in the mid lane. But at the end of the day, they still have the Claude in their possession. This is a late game monster that we're talking about. Any one time, Indonesia does have a pretty decently tanky lineup in the form of the Paquito as well as the Lapu Lapu. If Malaysia finds an angle and gets into the midst of battle, and they're not able to split up these team fights with the Lapu Lapu or the Paquito, then Malaysia would be able to overturn these fights.
Yep, I think it's all down to Elton, right? Like, once he hits his critical mass, it's still ongoing, but Delvin, you know, only on the Juicin, it's just doing a lot of damage onto Nazhan as well. Heavy spin already committed, and it's going to be Xiaoyuki diving with the Bravest Warrior. Nazhan pinning down Xiaoyuki right there. Amar unleashes the Mystic Gun. Delvin picks up Nazhan once again, slaps it all the way down, and over to the Team Malaysia. Hold on a second, cannot do anything for the defense. It's going to be the golden hour committed by the side of Alexander. He's shot once again. No man's land for out this glue as Dingerai picks up an unstoppable. No, that's for him, but 5 kills in his pocket.
Great golden hour from Alexander at the end of the day, but to start things all off, it was Najan who found himself in the wrong side of the woods, pulled back by Delvin. Great positioning right there from the Juicin itself. And Alexander, at the end of the day, the golden hour was just the chef's kiss on that meal.
Yep, golden stuff secured by Elton already. I feel like if this is the time for Team Malaysia to shine, it is now. Elton has scaled. But is it a little bit too late? We need to take a look at the subsequent team fights.
Now, Indonesia kind of knows that this Claude has that Holy Trinity. The damage will come through. But at the end of the day, they're still facing up against the Yi Shin. This is a max level Yi Shin, almost full builds. There's one item left. Malaysia going down towards that Paquito. He doesn't know.
Paquito, though. Oh, we'll be committing so much Dinger right. I think that's it.
Oh, he's still surviving, though.
Jab at the same time. Doesn't really have the cooldowns. Unfortunately, that's going to be a shutdown. But it is going to be Dingerai buying a lot of time. Nazhan right here using the Heavy Spin, pushing Alexander all the way out to position. Xiaoyuki with the Bravest Warrior letting down the stun. Delvin showering Nazhan with tons of damage and tons of love. But it's something that, you know, members of the side Team Malaysia doesn't want because Team Indonesia picks up the Lord.
What a play by Dingerai to set things in motion. They know the Lord was up. They went for a Paquito all alone, and they want to go for that pickoff on the wrong side of that map. I knew Malaysia didn't want to fight within that Lord, but to waste all your resources onto one Paquito who's able to sustain and pull you away from the team fights, away from the main objective in that Lord pit, that was just phenomenal.
It's a very interesting decision making coming out of Team Malaysia, right? Opting to pick out Dingerai right there down the bot. Yes, that's a shutdown gold. I can't exactly recall who actually got that goal, but at the very least, Elton picks up a assist. But now, your biggest problem is Team Indonesia sending the Lord down bot.
It's still the second Lord of the game. Malaysia does have a decent wave clearing potential. Elton could very well use the Blazing Duet if everything goes south. You also have the Mystic Gush to be able to pull everyone in. Alexander goes in with a stun onto Hisham.
Yeah,
but no follow-up as of now.
Unable to clear that wave, like what you mentioned, unfortunately. And now the Lord is just beating all the way down bot against Team Malaysia. Will be cleared out though, but the damage has been done.
Oh, there's a pullback. Great pull from Delvin, but this is a good game for him. He's not having being targeted anymore. Hisham doesn't have the mobility that he had when he was that Cho. So for Indonesia, this is free reign for them. They're taking full control of that map, and this is what I really like to see. They got that lead, and they're taking control of that. They're sitting in that jungle, pulling Malaysia out from their own base. They know when to fight, and they know when not to commit.
Right now, it's just an open base that Team Indonesia was able to deliver. This is the mid-game house fight that I was talking about, and at the very least, they know how to capitalize. This is what I want to see, especially when teams start to pick up Paquito. A lot of damage onto Nazhan, heavy spin, all the way to disengage.
Good resources burn from Nazhan, but at the end of the day, we're still waiting on to that Lord fight. So this is going to be in the waiting room for both these two teams. Malaysia really can't find an angle to come out. Elton is always having a target on his back, and he's super squishy, especially against a double fighters. Line up on the top side!
Oh, immediately Alexander gets picked off even before the Observer can catch as well. That's the power of Amar, right? The stun can come in anytime. Alexander just gets melted.
Alexander will be up before the next ward comes in. As Ding arriving, chased on by all the members of Malaysia, will be able to get safe and sound.
Unless they really want to try to cycle, but glue onto the Paquito, not an exactly great idea. Right now, Team Indonesia, 11 seconds on the clock for the side, Alexander to come back up, but the problem is Team Indonesia does have the double fighter composition. Dingarai and also Shiayuki is more than happy to play.
Yeah, Malaysia would be able to turn that tide as they do have the late game monster in the form of Claude, but Indonesia is responding with the Isun Shin. 1-0-6 on this Isun Shin for Afan, and still having a decent game. Taking down these objectives, Delvin.
Another one, Delvin, I think I already committed, and now all of a sudden, oh my goodness, Hisham is in no man's land! Afan, I feel like we've seen this before! This deja vu! Hisham getting taken down, unfortunately, by members from the side of the team. Malaysia right here, getting the damage coming out from the side of Shiayuki, but it's still 1-for-1, roam for a mid.
Yeah, for Hisham though, this is a worthy sacrifice. You're sacrificing yourself, you take down that mid, you're able to capitalize on that Lord fight. But now Indonesia is a bit too far ahead in terms of economy. If Malaysia tries to force this in, they need to wait for the heavy spin to come online. But now Indonesia kind of knows and understands that Najan is always right there. If you get pushed back, you're not going to get that Lord, and we might lose out on this main objective.
Yeah, Shiayuki is just menacingly standing there. He does have the Bravest Warrior, and now the Lord is already half HP. Nasan is just waiting for the moment, and right here, heavy spin, Bravest Warrior is laying down. Afan goes into the Mountain Shocker, but there's nothing but the bait. It's going to be Razif going into the Thunder Form already, but it's still Afan, resetting the Lord.
Good bait away from Dingarai. He's finding that flanks. Elton kind of knows, so he's pushed out of position at that point. So resetting that Lord was the best decision. Indonesia bringing Malaysia in for a dance.
Yeah.
On the top side though, Gord needs to go back to respawn, so Mars not in the picture. You have Paquito being able to dash and zip around that map, pushing up on that top side. So the win condition for Malaysia is try to fight S5 down that Lord pit. That's the only way.
5v5 right here is going to be Shiayuki jumping in. Nasan, Bland, once again, the Lord is getting reset. There's nothing but a bait. Team Indonesia concentrating about the shocker right here. It's going to be Aman right there. The golden hour already committed by the side of Alexander. Elton takes down Mundo. No jungle for the side of Team Indonesia. It's Elton blazing away in the backline. Delvin using the Winter Crown to try to save himself just a little bit longer, but it's going to be Elton right there. Pick already committed. Alexander on the chase. Elton taking down Dingarai, and now it's a little bit too much. This card has skill.
Alexander, it was a double-edged sword on that golden hour. They bought time for Malaysia to actually come in to take Afan down. Even though that the Lord got that reset, I think this is the time to wait for the 18 minutes if they so very well wish. Now, I don't know why you're not blitzing up this. It's just 18 minutes, so you get the evolved form.
Yeah, but
bait the Indonesia out.
Yeah, but right now you don't really have a lot of time. The window opportunity for you to take down the Lord. Here comes Amar with a missing gush as well. Shiayuki getting stalled by Razif as well. Okay. And that's hard. Picks up the Lord for himself, but he gets picked up instead by the Juicy. The Bravest Warrior coming out with Shiayuki will not be able to land onto anybody from the side. Team Malaysia, and now it's just going to be Team Malaysia theft committed.
They go what they came for. Lord in your possession. It's marching down the bottom side. I think Dingarai also played a heck of a good game in that last skirmish right before that Lord fight. Finding the entire backdoor angle onto Elton, but Elton was, like I said, in that front, the midst of the battle itself, and taking down Afan with him.
Yeah, and now it's just going to be a Lord marching down bot. If you take a look, Team Indonesia has all the turrets up as of yet. Team Malaysia has not done a single infrastructure damage as of now, but I'm not liking the position coming up Team Malaysia right here. They're spreading themselves way too thin.
Even though they're exposed, they're still waiting into that bush for Elton. I think that's the death bush, and they kind of know it. If Elton's left alone to their own devices and Indonesia actually finds Elton, they will be able to cycle Malaysia.
Hello? Nobody responded from the side of Indonesia to deal with the Lord down bot.
No, you don't want to deal with that Lord outside of your base. You'd rather take it in within your turret. At least you have a little bit more defensive potential.
Yeah, but that means that a lot of standing goal given over side Team Malaysia. If you take a look at that goal lead dwindling down right before Team Indonesia's eyes. Top side, clean up. Bot side already sustained quite a bit of damage.
Oh, man. I think just sitting and waiting onto that death bush up on that top side really burned them in the foot. And this is Malaysia really making a statement, and they're coming back into the game.
Yep, Hisham started big news as now. All of a sudden, hey, we're playing mostly on Team Malaysia's side of the map, but now the tables have turned, the chairs have been flipped. We're fighting in Team Indonesia's side of the map.
It all happened because Afan went down. Malaysia capitalized on that situation. Even though it wasn't the enhanced Lord, I think Elton really found his groove, really found his strike this time around. 2-0-2 on this Claude, and he's still waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for the right moment to really make Malaysia shine.
A bit trigger happy for the side. Amar, missing Gush already committed. and it allows Team Indonesia to just breathe just a little bit. I think Team Malaysia is going back to reset, try to freeze the wave in the mid, but it is still Team Malaysia having an open lane down bot.
The weakness of a double fighter side lane is that you are on the timer, and that timer might be now. Malaysia is pushing the hands of time from Alexander himself, from the Marcel, into their own favor, starting off with this Lord.
Yeah, what's the chance of Dingerite to start ignoring the team fights and then after that go for split push down bot?
Very highly possible. The top side's already open as well. Malaysia does have quick access, but now Afan is not in the right position. They're trying to bait them out and trying to fight in within the jungle.
Yep, feels like, members of side Team Malaysia is doing the same thing as Team Indonesia did, using the Lord to try to pull the members over and then force a response. Here we go. It's going to be, okay, this time around it seems like Team Malaysia has to come in for that. There's going to be Amar, landing down with Hassan, picking up the Lord for himself. But Elton, down low with Malaysia as well. Devin dies with the Crimson Beacon, gets picked up. Elton, Immortalized already picked up. Afan picking up Red Seam as well. He's shot right there, trying to peel, but the rest of the team, members of the Team Indonesia down low already. Elton still alive, that's the key point that Team Malaysia is holding on to, but they cannot afford costs like these.
Razif with the early sacrifice. Hisham extended too far ahead, and now Indonesia fighting 5 on 3. It's 30 seconds, they're not going to get back, but the Lord will buy them some time. And Malaysia, they know this. Great item slots coming in from Elton. Great find by Delvin and Shauki over onto this Claude. If they were to take out Elton, that would be it. Indonesia would turn everything around, even with the Lord in their possession.
I'm not sure Nasan should be there, right? He's getting picked up and thrown like a ragdoll right here, and members from the side of Team Malaysia. Maybe a little bit too far. If it's been right here, committed, disengaging.
They can't even push the Lord in.
Yeah.
It's Indonesia responding with, hey, you're not going to make that Lord, take that Lord into my home, take that Lord into my base, not twice. And now this is time for Indonesia to really fight back into how Malaysia likes to play this.
I feel like this is a roller coaster of we are so back and we're so close.
This is just a really big push and pull all the way on the other side of the map. So far, Indonesia does have a little bit of the upper hand in terms of, hey, they had that T3 on the bot side, pretty wide open. If they play their cards right, they could send Dingerite in this next Lord down to bottom side, try to push in that wave, and try to get that backdoor win. But Malaysia is definitely not going to let that go easily.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was talking about, right? Dingerite, at the very least, at this point in time, the Paquito doesn't really offer a lot of contribution, especially when you try to fight front to back. You're more of a flanker. You're more of a split pusher onto the other side. If you find Elton, punch him down, great. But even if you can't, because Elton's being very slippery because of the BMI, maybe start pushing down bot, right? That's an open lane in the favor of Team Indonesia, but it feels like Team Indonesia wasn't able to find that salt onto Team Malaysia's wound.
Yeah, it's a utility juice in on the top bottom side as well.
Crimson Beacon, Flicker already committed BMI, even the Mountain Shocker. A lot of resources committed by the side of Team Indonesia. Nasan and Razif also coming in, but he's going to Dingerite! Fighting onto Elton with a nature, and he heals all the way back up. And now Nasan pinning Alexander down the wall. The Golden Hour already committed as well. Elton down low, Dingerite looking for a replay right here, but then Flicker's all the way back. And now Cherokee dives all the way in the back. Elton's healing all the way back up. But Nasan right here, at the same time, just absorbing so much damage. Blazing the way from the side of Elton and Amar with the Winter Crown, and members of the side Team Indonesia and Malaysia just rolling it out down at the bot. 3-4-1 in the favor of Team Malaysia.
No Paquito, no Eastern Shin, no Lapu. They might be able to push it down mid. It's 60 seconds on the clock that Indonesia's not going to get back.
Yeah, they're blitzing it, right? They have to rush this, right? Jusin, technically speaking, is there a chance for her to wake her quickly?
No, not a shot unless she sells all the defensive items. We saw the items swap into Immortality.
We
saw the items swap into the Chasti's Pauldron. They got Elton in the possession. It's a 4v2.
Right now, it's just about jumping whether they could actually wait to this one. Right now, Malaysia will be able to Elton focusing on the core, but go to that one.
They got some time though.
Trying to buy some time. Elton focusing on the core, but the minutes from the side Indonesia marching all the way up, blazing the way. Will be committed by the side Team Malaysia as they cycle over and over and over again. But no minutes for Team Malaysia.
Shauki, 3 seconds coming in. Minions are also marching down in mid-side. You got an Immortality from Elton. She might be over though.
Come in there, but no. Members of side Team Malaysia almost say the want of another bit of BMI coming in. Elton going down. Oh! Shut down for the side of Elton.
67 seconds on the clock. No shot. Indonesia.
We are so back, but we are so cooked at the same time.
They're pushing it down mid. Afan, they have Afan. They have the damage to break through the defenses of T3 down the mid side.
Amar does have to miss the gush.
You have the heavy spin by time, but that might not be enough.
focusing on. There's no marksman for the side Team Indonesia as well. They don't really have the pushing power, Churros.
Top side minions pushing in for Malaysia. They might have a shot though.
What is this? This is only just round robins.
Bases in shambles. They're going straight for that Lord. Buying time, waiting for the right moment. But Elton's going to come back up in the next 30 seconds.
But now it's going to be, don't forget, it's still Nasan on the heavy speed. He's trying to make a beeline right here. Delvin right here using the shower to try to pick up Nasan, trying to slow it down. Amar using the missing gush a little bit too slow. The Lord ultimately forgotten, Churros.
Look at the minions though. The minions are actually pushing into
Top
Malaysia's
side,
favor.
side.
Next one's coming up on the bottom side. Indonesia's minions are pushing through. Dingarai buying time as well.
What is this? It feels like they really play for Nagoya, but it seems like they really want to lock into Nagoya right now. Xiaoyuki, Raven's Warrior already committed. Nasan has to back off. Fan right here. Trying to put the Lord, but both Indonesia pulled back.
Elton's already online. Indonesia knows that they can't fight this. The Claude has come way too far. And now it's back on that reset. Razif is back on lane pushing duties, but it's not too fast.
Any pickoff right here, Churros, is going to be the death of that team.
This is insane. This is mental if you're both sides.
Skype here at 26 minutes, Amar.
Hey, you know, every bit of help counts. As Dingarai trying to push up on that mid side, the way they want to play this is try to find an angle onto Elton, but Elton's not going to show himself very effectively. You still have the cooldown on immortality that Elton doesn't have back, so item swaps won't work anymore. He's got to win on nature, he's got to win to crown still in possession, so at least he's able to get that item swap onto that one at the very least.
Yeah, but right now, don't forget, the Lord is doing a lot of damage. Afan has no choice but to kite. One mistake. Both these two teams riding standing on the tightrope right now.
I think Malaysia could very well push down that bottom side. Look at where Hisham is. He's trying to take control of that bottom side lanes. But now without that glue, they're sounding the horns, they're sounding the alarms though.
Mother Shocker already committed. Afan knows everybody where Team Malaysia is. Hisham making a beeline straight back into the Lord pit right here, but Alexander and also Xiaoyuki is ready for him.
Could there be an opportunity where Hisham takes Elton downtown on the long side of the road and through the gardens once again?
The split push from Dingarai could potentially happen, but there's a base turret from the side Team Malaysia at the top. Same could be said on the side Elton as well. It is a series of unfortunate events.
They don't want to push it. They don't want to waste their precious moments right now. Everything is all back online. It's just a waiting game. Who wants to engage first? Who's making a wrong move?
Man, this Mexican standoff is nail-biting, Churros.
Yeah, I mean we've seen what happened with Hisham on the Cho in the previous game. He likes that bottom side turret, and he looks like everyone's making a beeline towards that bottom side though.
Getting picked up though. There's a lot of damage. Dish out by this Delvin. Right now, Hisham down low already. We'll be able to just split all the way out.
Malaysia still playing very, very safe. Elton knows that he is the one to stay alive. That's 28 minutes game from Indonesia versus Malaysia. It's still anyone's game. It's still even at this point.
Man, I cannot even decide what's going on right now. It could potentially be, Team Malaysia. It is all about mispositioning right now. Don't forget, Amar can always send down these bombs over and over again.
Afan is down low, is half health. The Lord is doing a lot of damage onto this machine. He needs to go back and get that reset. So once again, we're back to square one. I think Indonesia needs to find a way to get that tank.
There's going to be the go-to. I will try to slow down that side as well. Afan there's also going to be the mountain shocker. And now Heavy Spin coming to by the side. Nasan trying to push Team Indonesia back.
Elton does have that damage, and he's in the vicinity. He's taking a lot of hits over onto Indonesia and all back to that reset. I think Afan or Indonesia really needs to send someone else to tank this Lord and try to pull it over. And that's the reason why you like that tank junglers in the first place. Nazan doesn't want to risk it, but neither does Afan. So both teams don't want to make the first move.
Don't forget, mid lane for the side Team Indonesia is open. Super Minions are constantly marching in, and Super Minions are starting to get a lot more powerful the longer the time goes. Team Malaysia still have that small little advantage.
The half an hour mark, Elton is just selling and buying items as he would, and he's so none in. He's being very consistent over the past couple of games. Right now, Resist, forced to use the ultimate just to get out harm's way.
Delvin committing to the same as well. Crimson Beacon will be committed by the side of Delvin.
Both teams just struggling to get that lane push, the lane priority on the top side. Indonesia has the upper hand. The bottom side, Malaysia still struggling to find their footing. It does look like Indonesia does have advantage on the long lane though.
Hafan spot the hard claw. He's done. He needs to try to sustain against the damage from the side of this really big Lord right now.
It's easier said than done, and it's a constant push and pull until Alexander has gotten the ultimate back once again. But for Indonesia though, I think it's very difficult if you want to pull this Lord. Look at where Hisham is, and he knows where to go.
Elton Down bot will show himself. Dingerai built up a fat stack of wave up top against Team Malaysia.
Elton built up a fat stack
At the same
against
time,
Team
the bot.
Indonesia.
What a stalemate, Rose.
It's an extreme stalemate.
I need to remind myself to breathe. Lots of
Turn
damage coming
things
out from
off.
Elton, though.
It's just hitting and pushing and pulling.
Whoa. That's Amar! Let it down to Mr. Guts. This could be it. Sherry down on the way back. Flicker already committed by the side of Amar. As Dalvin down low already, just a little bit, but now Flan trying to hold on to the alive. The mortality already committed as well. Elton trying to finish out the damage. Elimination also committed by the side of Elton.
All the hits, all the ultimates already used up, and no one's dead. Immortality already popped up, but for both sides.
Big ultimate, the big battle spell flickers for Dingerai, Alexander, and also Xiaoyuki already committed. Amar goes in with a Mystic Gush. This could be it, Jeros.
Dingerai, he's got the golden, the rose gold meteor, but it's not enough.
Not good enough, it's exactly it. Now he just Dingerai going down. Not a lot of depth coming on the side of Team Indonesia already. Now something out Xiaoyuki right now. Elton's looking strong. Oh, dude, it's blazing the wet.
There's a 5 against 3. Malaysia, they don't want to risk it. They're going straight for that Lord. It opened up so much of the opportunities that they can rush it down.
60 seconds on the clock for the side of Team Indonesia for 2 members. And not only just that, Team Indonesia also had to deal with 7 minutes marching up top.
This is a 30-minute Lord that we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, this
will
takes a long time.
A long time to take down, even with Elton at the helm. And Malaysia, once again, crawling back up. They had that chance.
Man, break this down.
That mid-side stop onto Dingerai was a good find. Delvin was down low, he was able to pop up. He sold all his core attacking items for the immortality. Xiaoki as well. Good find onto the golden hour. Alexander was, I think the golden hour was definitely a double-edged sword, but right now, this is it. This is the Lord.
20 seconds, golden hour, try to slow down as much as they can. Even the Mountain Shock already committed, and now it's gonna be, melting Jonathan! Delvin going up next! That's not pushing the members of the side Indonesia already! As Team Malaysia takes game number 3 against Team Indonesia.
A 32-minute game, a long drawn fight. A big switch from Malaysia. The substitution coming in, equalizing the scoreline, and finally calling the shots.
Crazy games coming up for Team Malaysia. I need to remind myself to breathe.
Yeah,
it was
we all do.
Like for the past 2 minutes, it was just pure tension between these two teams. It could flip any time, Churros.
Yeah, with that one play, that one shift, that one golden hour, and like I said, it's a double-edged sword. You might be able to protect your teammates, you might be able to set things up, and I hear the crowd, even with the headsets on, they are definitely happy about this. This is basically sibling rivalry between the Southeast Asian teams. You don't really feel it unless you're within the region.
But Churros, you gotta agree with me. That was a roller coaster. We are so back, we are so cooked, we are so back, we are so cooked. And also, I don't know, it's both low cortisol and high cortisol gameplay.
Yeah, at the late stage of the game, the minions are actually dealing so much and they have so much health. It takes one claw a minute and a half just to take down one wave. Building the wave up, building a fat stack doesn't really help at all. They do have turrets that they have to deal with as well. Elton was so hard to take down. He's healing everything back up when he's dealing that damage. At the end of the day though, Hisham was the key that Malaysia needed. The first game was a little bit of a rough start from Malaysia. But at the end of the day, they really showed up. Take a look at the MVP. It was going to Amar. He found the gushes, he found the lasers, and at the end of the game, this was the damage dealt. Almost 200,000.
I mean,
That's not to say they made mistakes. Both teams are extremely neck and neck. Very, very stalemate. And the draft was
technically speaking, yes, they do have an Yushin Shin on the side of Team Indonesia. The Mountain Shocker should come in clutch, but the Yushin Shin does have nothing against what Isham can do. Not Nasan to a certain extent, Razif. If you notice, especially the latest part of the game, Razif is forced to use the Thunder ultimate to basically...
Just for a little bit more damage onto Dalvin and Afan.
Yeah, they need to ooze as much damage as possible, and even if you take a look at the damage dealt chart, it is 52, it's like 100k difference in the favor of Team Indonesia, but they lost it.
Yeah, that being said, also, I think Dalvin sold a lot of his damage items, core damage items, and went full utility tank Jusin. So this was quite a big adjustment from the mid side as well. Not enough magic damage, not enough physical damage, and even Dingarai and Shauki alone wasn't enough to take Elton down. He was just so heavily protected, and it was like, I don't want to say this, but Malaysia really protected the president, and Elton was him.
We only have a prime minister.
A prime minister. Jokes aside though, this was, I feel like we have said so much about this game. Qualifiers, this is their first loss.
Yeah, and it is a 2-1. So, you know, credits where credits due, right? Indonesia, still well done, but Team Malaysia, you know, proved themselves right against, you know, one of the touted, Team Indonesia, right? Look, they are known to be really aggressive in terms of these gameplays. They show